friends, today I'm going to talk about the Ashkenazi Jews. I've done this video before, but they were all deleted from my old YouTube channel, so here we go again. There are many secrets to be learned in the science of etymology, or the study of words. So let's start with the name Ashkenazi. Where does it come from? Well, it comes from the name Ashkenaz, hence Ashkenazi. It's elementary. Ashkenaz was the son of a biblical character called Gomer. Gomer is the daughter of Japheth, who was the son of a man named Noah, who you all are very well aware of. He had three sons: Shem, for the Semitic races, so they say; Ham, which they say is the black races, again, so they say; and Japheth, the Mongoloid races. It goes on to say in every Bible about Ashkenaz and about these peoples that they lived in a certain area. You have to do that yourself, do your own research, and that they are the Gentiles. In every Bible except for two: the Freemasonic Bible, because the Masons are liars, and the Jewish Bible, because the Jews are liars. So Ashkenaz, in truth, is the son of Gomer, and he fostered or fathered the non-Semitic races of peoples. Now, these people, at one point, probably traveled across the Caucasus Mountains and settled in an area on the steppes of Russia called Khazaria. It's been deleted from the history books for many, many years. You got to find a history book at least 200 to 300 years old, and you'll find all of that about Khazaria. Their inhabitants were a Turco-Finnish Mongoloid race, the sons and daughters of the burghers, of the mayors, descendants of Attila the Hun, who was also a descendant of Ashkenaz. And in the 6th century AD, they were in the middle of two warring empires: the Muslim Empire and the Roman Catholic Empire. So they had to join sides, join one of them for their own protection. But they didn't, because when the convoys came with the people who would convert them, they were all murdered. Murdered by who? Murdered by the people of the religion that they converted to. And that religion was called Talmudism. You know it as Judaism, but it wasn't called Judaism back then. It was called Talmudism. It didn't become Judaism until the 17th century, because these people, the wealthy ones, lived on Judenstrasse Street in Frankfurt, Germany. Hence, they became known as the Jews. When you see the word Jews, if you should, in the Bible, it's an alteration. It's been doctored. The people in the Bible called Jews were Judeans because they lived in Judea. They were not Israelites, because the Israelites, after the Assyrian captivity, traveled across the Caucasus again through Europe. They became the Saxons, Isaac's sons. Wake up, folks. You got to know who's controlling you. Anyway, let's go back. As I said, they converted to Talmudism. The peoples of Ashkenaz converted to Talmudism in the 6th century. Before that, and I'm going to go back, way back. Originally, the religion, or this Redeemer religion, was started by a Brahmin priest called Abram. Again, word meetings. Abram was told to change his name to Abraham. Instead of Abram, you had Abraham. Now, in the Brahmin religion, what they did is they sacrificed their firstborn and they followed their devious god. Same thing. This Mesopotamian priest, Abraham, was told by Yahweh, who is not God, who is an extraterrestrial demon or an archon, and if you doubt me, read the Dead Sea Scrolls, also known as the Nag Hammadi Scrolls, and learn who Yahweh or Jehovah is. He's a Satan, an adversary of the Creator. The word Yahweh is a corruption of the name Yad-He-Vav-He that the Oriental Kabbalist and the ancient Hebrew Kabbalist corrupted and changed it to Yahweh to make you worship a different God. Because they're in their Redeemer religion, waiting for a Messiah. Well, there ain't no Messiah. Jesus wasn't a Messiah. Messiah means warrior, priest, king. Jesus came to teach you how to save yourself. You folks have to realize that. Now, the religion that he started was called Yahwehism, also known as Habaruism, because the peoples who followed it were the Habaru, which became corrupted into Hebrew. Now, who were the Habaru? Habaru means from across the water. What water? You could say the peoples of the sea. You could say from across the waters or the oceans of space. But what you must know is that whenever that word was used in ancient times, that is the word Habaru, it was preceded by another word called Sagaz Habaru, S-A-G-A-Z Habaru. Sagaz means cutthroat. So you put cutthroat with Habaru, which means from across the water. What you have is a cutthroat from across the water. But again, these people have no genetic relation to the people who now call themselves Jews. These people were the peoples of the Old Testament who followed the demon Yahweh or Jehovah, who was also known as the Demiurge or Iadolboth in ancient times. He was never known as Lucifer because Lucifer means light bearer. In fact, if you read the Latin Vulgate in Peter 1, in Latin, it says, I, Jesus, am son of the morning. Am Lucifer, son of the morning, because Jesus was a light bearer. Lucifer is also known as Prometheus, or Enki, the Sumerian god who gave man knowledge, the serpent because of his wisdom. Jesus, did he not say, be as wise as serpents? So again, we now know that Lucifer is not Satan and Satan is not Lucifer. They are opposites. We know that the modern day Jews are not Semitic. They're from an Oriental race, or the children of Ashkenaz, Gomar, and of course, Japheth. Well, how did all this come to be? What's going on today? Well, we got to go back. In the 5th century BC, or thereabouts, the Babylonian Empire invaded Judea, just like the Assyrian Empire did in 700 AD with Israel. But they invaded Judea. They invaded Judea, which was right next door to Israel, which was not Israel anymore at that time. It was called Samaria. Today it's called the West Bank. That's why the Turco-Finnish, Mongoloid, non-Semitic Jews want to take Palestine, so they can incorporate the whole area for their new world or Jew world order. Okay, so they're captured and they're taken to Babylon. Some of the Levite priests, because that's what the priests in Yahwehism were called, started to mingle in with the Zoroastrianisms, and with the followers of Zoroaster. And they mingled the corrupted teachings of Zoroaster with the teachings of Yahwehism, and they came up with a religion called Phariseeism, and they call themselves Pharisees, which is nothing more than being a lawyer or a scholar of this man-made diabolical law. In time, the religion changed. It wasn't called Phariseeism anymore because they were rabbis who were Pharisees, because rabbis, again, is not a holy man. He's actually a despicable lawyer, an attorney. That's what a rabbi is. You got to wake up. From rabbiism, after the first century AD, they wound up in Babylon again. After the what happened at Masada, you could Google that. They wrote the Babylonian Talmud, so the religion became Talmudism. And as you know, it was changed to Judaism. That's all, folks. Now you know who these people are who are committing heinous atrocities, murder, rape, pillage, and genocide on the peoples of Palestine. These, by the way, the same people who are responsible for the Russian Revolution, which should be called the Bolsheviks' Jew Revolution, in which they killed 100 million Christians. World War I, which they conjured Woodrow Wilson into, and World War II. Also the attack on the USS Liberty in 1967, which 160-something naval personnel, United States naval personnel, were murdered, and Johnson covered it up, and they're responsible for 9/11. Google that too. I could go on, but today is a big day. I have the show to do at 10 a.m.